Hey friend, if you are going to Glacier National Park in 2022, then you need a few extra reservations to get around the park. So I am here to explain the whole process. I'll show you how to do it. I'll walk you through a live demo of getting these reservations so that we can make sure that you can go where you want to go in Glacier this year. My name is Ash. I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes, and I am here today to walk you through the Glacier reservation process for 2022. Out of all of the parks that are requiring reservations this year, Glacier's is the most complex. So I'm going to walk you through it, try to answer all the questions you might have so that you can understand what you need and navigate the park successfully. Let's get started. Glacier is actually requiring two different entrance reservations this year for two sections of the park. And so if you're wanting to go to these sections of the park while you're there, then you'll need an extra entrance reservation to get in. The first reservation I want to talk about is the one that pretty much everybody is going to want, and that's the Going to the Sun Road reservation. The Going to the Sun Road is the main road through the park. That's where you'll find most of the can't miss activities, such as the best hiking trails, viewpoints. That's the road that will take you up into the mountains and give you just those iconic glacier views. And so getting on the Going to the Sun Road is a big deal, and you'll want to make sure you have the reservation for it if you're hoping to get on that road. The second entrance reservation that Glacier is requiring in 2022 is the North Fork Corridor reservation. That covers the area. It's kind of a little bit further removed from the main areas of the park, but it's beautiful. So this is the area that you'll drive up to Pole Bridge, and then if you want to go to Bowman Lake or Kintla Lake, those are kind of the most popular spots up in that area. So if you're hoping to visit Bowman Lake this year especially, then you're going to need the North Fork Corridor reservation. Let's take a look on the map so I can show you exactly which areas this is covering and where you'll need a reservation for. Okay, so as you can see, for the Going to the Sun Road reservation, anything that you want to do within along this kind of brown line here, so anything within the Camas entrance, the west entrance, or the Rising Sun checkpoint. So they're gonna set up a specific checkpoint at Rising Sun this year. And so anything along this line, you will need the Going to the Sun Road reservation for. So this is, you can see Logan Pass is included on here. Anything like St. Mary Falls is in here. You've got anything along Lake McDonald over here. All of those are included. Avalanche Creek, that's where like Avalanche Lake is. So those are the most notable spots along this road, but places you definitely won't want to miss. So that's for the Going to the Sun Road reservation. As you can see, West Glacier is out here. A lot of people stay kind of in the Whitefish Kalispell area, and so if you're hoping to get into the park through the west entrance, then you'll need one of these reservations. The second reservation, the North Fork Corridor reservation, is this green line up here. So you actually take like kind of it feels like a back road. It's pretty removed up into here. Some of this road is dirt. You get up to Pole Bridge. You can explore Pole Bridge, like going to the Mercantile and things like that without this reservation. But once you get beyond Pole Bridge, there's a ranger station right here that they keep staffed. And so that's where they'll be checking for these other North Fork reservations. And then to get to Bowman Lake, Kintla Lake, any of these little campgrounds down here, you will need that reservation. So as you look at this map, just make sure you understand exactly where you're hoping to go and if you're going to need a reservation to go there. But in most cases, you'll for sure want the Going to the Sun Road reservation. And then if you do decide to drive up to Pole Bridge and go, say, further on to Bowman Lake, then you'll want that reservation, the North Fork reservation. As you can tell from this map too, if you're hoping to go into Many Glacier, which is over here coming out of Bab, You do not need a reservation for that area. Also, Two Medicine down here, kind of in the southern end of the park, you don't need a reservation for to go to that area. And then new this year, they didn't do this in 2021, but for 2022, you can actually drive in from St. Mary to Rising Sun without a reservation. There's not a whole lot to do right there. You can see St. Mary Lake, the St. Mary campgrounds right there, but you don't need a reservation to drive in that far. They'll start checking them when you get to Rising Sun. Okay, so now that we know what these reservations cover, let's talk a little bit more about the nitty-gritty details. First of all, I want to say that there are some ways to get around needing one of these reservations. So for the Going to the Sun Road reservation, you can get around this. You don't need one if you have certain reservations for campgrounds, lodging, activities, things that are along the Going to the Sun Road within the west entrance and the St. Mary entrance. So if you have activities booked between those two entrances, or you're staying at a lodge between those two entrances, then you will not need one of these reservations. You can just print out your confirmation for your lodging or your activity and show it to them as you go through the entrance station, and that will get you in. This is where it gets a little bit confusing, because people will book certain activities and then not realize that they're not actually along the Going to the Sun Road corridor that's included in these exceptions. So I want to show you this list that they have on the Glacier National Park website. It's nps.gov/GLAC is where you'll find this. And here are the valid, they have them all listed out. So these are all the valid places that you can have a reservation for to avoid having to actually go through this process and get the entrance reservation on Recreation.gov. So as you can see here, they have them all listed out. So if it's not included here, then it doesn't count. So the campgrounds, Apgar, Fish Creek, Sprague Creek, and St. Mary, those are all reservable campgrounds. And so if you have a reservation there, then that will get you in. Avalanche and Rising Sun are first come, first serve campgrounds. So how they're going to do that is you'll need this reservation. You'll need the Going to the Sun Road reservation to get onto the road, to get in there. And then once you're in there and get a spot at one of these first come, first serve campgrounds, then that will count for the remainder of your stay. So it is a little bit complicated, because if you're hoping to do first come, first serve, you'll still need one of these reservations, or you won't even be able to get in to try to get one of the first come, first serve campgrounds. Okay, a few more things. So the Glacier Boat Company, they run boat tours. This is only 2 of the 4 of the boat tours they run. So make sure you book one that's listed here, because if you book one in Mini Glacier or Two Medicine, it will not count for the Going to the Sun Road. Red Bus Tours, they list out the options. So these are all of the lodges here that count. If you have a reservation in any of these lodges, then you can get in without needing this extra reservation. So again, make sure you're just going through this list. Make sure if you're trying to get around having one of these reservations, that whatever you book is listed on this list. So also wilderness camping. So if you're going to do any backcountry hiking and you have a permit there for any trailhead within this corridor, that counts. So again, just take a look at this list. If you have any questions, it's just on the Glacier website. And make sure that the service that you book gets you onto the Going to the Sun Road. For the North Fork Corridor reservation, there's very few exceptions where you won't need that because it is such a more primitive area. There's really not like a whole bunch of stuff that goes on in there as far as like tours or lodges or anything like that that would get you in there without needing one of these permits. So if you're hoping to go into that area, if you're hoping to go to Bowman Lake or camp in any of those campgrounds, pretty much 95% of the time you're going to need one of these extra reservations that I show you today because there are just very few ways to get around that. Okay, the dates that you're going to need these reservations are May 27th to September 11th, 2022. That is the main park season. In fact, May 27th is even a little early. The Going to the Sun Road doesn't usually fully open until about the last week of June, or even sometimes into July. And a lot of those higher reaches of the park are still snow covered at that time. And so the park season is very, very short. And then as far as September, so after September 11th, when the reservations aren't required anymore, it can get a little iffy with the weather. You never know if you're going to get some snow or if some of the roads are going to close down. A lot of things in Glacier kind of start closing down at that time. They tend to close down some of the little outlier areas like the mini Glacier Road, and a lot of the campgrounds and lodges kind of start closing up for the season. So that main time frame where you'll need these reservations is really peak season and preferred season in the park to get to everything that you want to do. For the Going to the Sun Road reservation, it's from the hours of 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. For the Bowman Lake or the North Fork Corridor reservation, it's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if you're wanting to enter the park at either of those times in those areas, then you will need a reservation. Now, a word of caution about those hours. So you can do all the work and get the reservation and still not get parking. That's very, very common. Glacier's parking lots are quite small compared to how many people want to get in there. And it's been a problem for years and years of like trying to find empty parking spots at some of these bigger, more popular locations. So I just want to give you a word of caution, because what happened in 2021 was that there were a lot of people who wanted to go to the park who couldn't get their Going to the Sun Road reservation. And so they just entered the park before 6 a.m. Because that's when they start checking the reservations. So if you can get through the entrance station before 6 a.m., then you don't need one of these reservations. But what was happening was there was a lot of people doing that and filling up the parking lots like well before the rest of the people who got the reservations got into the park. And so, you know, if people are driving in the park at 5 a.m. and they're going up to Logan Pass, which is one of the most popular parking lots, that parking lot was actually filling usually by like 6:30 or 7. It takes about an hour and a half to drive up there from West Glacier. But it was filling with those people that were entering the park before 6 a.m. so that by the time the people who had reservations were showing up at 6:30, 7 to go up to Logan Pass, the parking lot was already full. And it stays full through most of the day. So it does create a big mess. And just because you get one of these reservations does not mean you'll get parking. In fact, if you're not just like super on top of it and willing to get up really early, then you probably won't get parking. So you'll want to keep that in mind, because it has been just a huge hassle for people. A lot of people don't want to get up early or aren't able to get up early, or just have a hard time doing that, but then there's no parking. So keep that in mind. Just because you get the reservation doesn't mean there's going to be parking for you. And so you do need to have a plan or a schedule to make sure that you can get up there at the right time. I will be monitoring this, and I am going to Glacier this summer pretty early in the season so that I can sit in the parking lots and see kind of what's filling and what's not. So if you feel like you want extra help with this, then click over to Dirt in My Shoes, pick up your Glacier itinerary, because that's where I'll be putting all the updates on the parking situation and just how to avoid having to circle parking lots for hours, or how to make it work for you. These reservations open up on a 120-day rolling basis. And so, for example, tomorrow is March 3rd. The 120 days out is July 1st. And these open at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. You'll want to be on your computer ready to get the reservation exactly when they open up. And later in the process, when I'm showing you the live process of getting one of these reservations, I'll show you how to find out exactly when the dates you need are opening up for reservations. So you don't have to do the math in your head. There's an easy way to see when you'll need to be on your computer ready to get your reservation. Okay, so I want to show you the live process for getting one of these reservations required in Glacier this year. I'm going to head over to my computer and show you my screen so that you can watch me walk through this. Right now it is 7:56. These reservations open up at 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, and so we just have a few minutes here to get ready. So the first thing you're going to want to do is log in. If you haven't already made an account, you're going to want to do that a few days before you need to do this. You don't want to be trying to make an account on the same morning. It just complicates the process. So make your account at Recreation.gov in advance. Recreation.gov is the website that a lot of the national parks use for booking. So if you plan on going to multiple national parks, it's good to have an account anyway. So I'm going to search for Glacier. Okay, I can see Glacier National Park here, but I also see the vehicle reservations here, which is what I want. So I'm just going to click straight into there. Okay, so Glacier National Park reservations. So as you can see, we have the Going to the Sun Road Corridor 3-day reservation, and then we have the North Fork 1-day reservation. So this one's good for 3 days, this one's good for 1 day. The most important one for me to get today is the Going to the Sun Road one. That's the one that's going to make or break my vacation the most, and so I'm going to go for that one first. After I get this one, then I'll go back and maybe see if they have North Fork ones, but they're not opening very many this year, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get both in the same day. We'll see. Okay, so when you get in here, you can go and click on the date, and you'll see it says they're not released yet. I'm going to go for June 20th. Okay, so if you hover over, when it says not released, if you hover over it, it will tell you what day and what time that date is released. And so if you're just in here kind of looking around, say you're going August 17th, hover over it and it will tell you your date to be on here is April 19th at 8 a.m. So just be sure to figure that out beforehand so that you can be here right at 8 o'clock when they open up. That's what's going to give you the best chance of actually getting the permit. So if I click on this, I only need one ticket here because it's per vehicle. So it's saying that additional tickets will be made available on March 2nd at 8 o'clock, which is 1 minute from now. So I'm going to go, my goal is to click on this request tickets as close to 8 o'clock as possible. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to wait until 8 o'clock, which we're getting there real soon. Okay, 8 o'clock, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. I clicked that request tickets as quickly as I could, and we'll see if we can get it. This does happen a lot, especially for Glacier, because these tickets are so competitive. Okay, I got it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hurry. Yes, read through here, proceed to cart, make sure everything's in there. Okay, I've got it. So now I'm going to continue shopping. I'm going to see if I can get this other Glacier National Park vehicle reservations, see if I have any chance of getting this one. I do. Okay, I want this for my first day. You don't have to do that, but look at that. We got it. Okay, so it will autofill your information. You'll want to read through this. This is really important to read through so that you know exactly how to use this reservation. And then I'm going to click proceed to cart again. Okay, that was pretty painless. I would say that hopefully if it goes that way for you, that would be great. But a lot of times it will circle around a lot. It will take a few minutes to get it in your cart. Sometimes it will kick you out and you have to go back in real fast and try to get it again. So Just be patient with the process. Know that it is pretty stressful, or it can be, but just try to be there right when the tickets open up and click that request tickets button as quickly as possible so that you can get it in your cart before everybody else. Okay, so now I'm looking, just want to make sure. Okay, so I have my Going to the Sun Road for 3 days. I can enter any time between 6 a.m. and 4 p.m. And then I have my Bowman Lake one for that first day, the 20th. That's the day I want to drive to Bowman Lake, so that's great. That looks good. Your reservations are $2 a piece, and that's looking good to me. So then you'll go to Proceed to Payment. You'll notice that there is a timer up here in the corner of your screen that will count down, so you do want to fill this out relatively quickly. I don't actually need these reservations, so I'm not going to complete this process, but basically what you'll do is you'll put in your payment info, you'll make sure that you get it paid for, and then they will email you an actual reservation ticket. So they'll email you a receipt, and then they'll email you the actual ticket. And the actual ticket is what you'll want to print out and bring with you. I like to bring a hard copy because Wi-Fi and cell service in Glacier is really spotty and hard to come by, and so I always like to just have the hard copy with me. You can also have it on your phone if you can download it so that you can use it without any internet, then that could work too. So but anyway, you'll take that ticket, and then that's what you'll show as you go through either the Camas entrance or the west entrance or Rising Sun on the east side of the park. So, and then they'll send me another one for my North Fork one day that I'll also take with me when I go into Polbridge through the entrance station there so that I can get to Bowman Lake. And that is how it works. Okay, so we got the reservations we needed. I'm really excited about that, actually. Hopefully you're able to go through that process really easily and get the reservation you need as well. So remember, the Going to the Sun Road reservation is good for 3 days. So if you're staying longer than 3 days and you want to be on the Going to the Sun Road longer, then you'll either need to get another reservation, or you'll need to book something that's within that corridor so that you can get into the park and be along the Going to the Sun Road for as long as you need to. And then again, the Bowman Lake one is for 1 day. If you do go into Bowman Lake and you want to stay at the campground there or any of the other campgrounds in the area, then as soon as you get booked up for the campground, then you can stay in there for the amount of days that you'll be camping. So you just need that original reservation to get into the area that you want to be. Okay, so what happens if you don't get the reservation that you need? So if you didn't plan far enough in advance and you weren't able to get on right when the tickets opened up, or if there's just so many people trying for those tickets and you weren't able to get it in your cart, then there are a few things that you can do to kind of work around having these reservations. So the first thing you can do is actually try to get a ticket the day before you need it. So they will be opening up more tickets 1 day in advance at 8 a.m. So if you're trying to get in, like for my example, you're trying to get in on June 20th, but you can't get one in advance, then on June 19th at 8 a.m. some more will open up. So I can try to go through this whole process again just the day before and try to get one of those last minute reservations. So I would start there. If you're not able to get one of those last minute reservations, then another option would be to enter the park outside of those hours that they're checking the reservations. So for the Going to the Sun Road, if you enter the park before 6 a.m. or after 4 p.m., then they won't be checking reservations and you'll be able to get around and do what you want to do. And then for the North Fork corridor reservation, it's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So anytime before 6 a.m. or after 6 p.m., you could potentially drive in and see what there is to see up there. Another option is you can actually walk in or bike in through the entrance without needing a reservation. To get to all the mountain views and kind of the iconic stuff from the entrance stations, it's quite far. So just be prepared for that if you decide to enter the park that way. Another option, if you're not able to get what you need in this entrance reservation process, then you can actually book a service or a tour that we talked about before, you can book one of those services or tours to get you onto the Going to the Sun Road. The service or tour bookings are only good for the day that you have it booked. So if you're wanting to be there multiple days, then you'd probably have to book multiple tours or multiple activities that will get you onto the Going to the Sun Road. So keep that in mind, but that is an option to work around it. So if you're not able to get the reservation that you need, but you still want to get onto the road, then you could book something like a guided hike or a red bus tour or a boat tour to get you onto the Going to the Sun Road. And the last thing, if you're not able to get one of these reservations and you don't want to do any of those other options that I already laid out, then you can also just focus your time on the areas that don't require reservations this year. So the most popular areas that don't require reservations, again, are the Mini Glacier area and the Two Medicine area. They're both on the east side of the park. And then you can also drive along Highway 2 along the bottom of Glacier without needing a reservation. So you do have some great options of areas that don't require reservations that you can explore. I hope that helps walk you through the process of getting your Glacier National Park reservations for 2022. If you need any more additional information or help with getting your reservations, you can click on over to Dirt in My Shoes, pick up your Glacier National Park itinerary, where I will walk you through everything with a schedule and what you need and how to get it. So if you're looking for a little bit more help with that, then that's the way to go. I also have a whole bunch of blog articles and things to read through to prepare for your trip to Glacier so that you know exactly what you need and what to expect. And that's everything from me today. I hope that you have a great Glacier vacation, and I hope that you get some dirt in your shoes.